the second segment of my statement on 2nd September, I defined how my administration, if the public, should the public decide to make me the Sikang, then what I will do, how I will do. That is what is more important than my personality for you to select your own candidate and vote for him or her. Now, in the 2016 election, I brought out a brochure. Maybe I was the only one who brought out a brochure, written brochure. And I have made the following points as to how I will go about doing my job. 1. All my policies and programs will be very, very clear and consistent. So for any administration to function well, all their policies has to be very, very clear and consistent. Number 2, all our goals will be based on ground reality. I do not forever resort to rhetorics. I always think about what is achievable and what is the ground reality, based on which what we need to achieve. Number 3, whatever we do, it will be fair and impartial in its undertaking. Despite what people say, they can judge for themselves. We will be fair, irrespective of who is supporting what, or who belongs to which province or religious tradition, or young and old. That doesn't matter. Once you are entrusted with the responsibility, it's your responsibility to be fair and just, which means equitable. Number 4, implementation of all these programs and plans will have to be result-oriented. So everything, all energies will be geared, all the resources that we use will be geared towards getting the right kind of results. So these were the 4 points that I talked about. But this time, in addition to what I've already said in 2016, I have raised 3 basic principles as my campaign slogan. 1, the principle. The principle of my approach, the basic ideology, the basic thinking that goes into everything I do would be equitable. When we say equitable, we are talking about being fair, being just, being equal, being unbiased. So all those values come into the term equitable, and that is my basic principle. And the objective is to move forward. Moving forward is my main objective. We have our history behind us, we have our experience behind us. We have to learn from this history, we have to learn from these experiences, but there's no time to step back. We have no space to step back, we have no time to step back. The only way is to move forward. And the means, how do we achieve that? The means is co-effort. Co-effort meaning collective effort or cooperative effort. So we have to pool in resources, whether it's human, financial, or knowledge. So all these resources, within and without the Tibetan community, has to be pooled in to make all our projects successful. Because for every single policy and program, there will be a role that the administration has to play, the bureaucracy has to play, the public has to play, the communities has to play, every single individual has to play their role. So that will be my means. So the principle is equitable, objective is moving forward, and means is co-effort. So I'll be focusing on these 3 issues whenever I talk about any particular subject that I intend to raise in the coming weeks. Now, from that time onwards, starting from 17th October, I started speaking about the most important topics that concerns us. And if you give me the responsibility of the Sikang, than how I intend to fulfill all this. That is more important for you to understand that the personality of candidates. Now, how do I view this election, 2016? Now, as a candidate, personally, I shall strive to ensure that the electoral process of the Tibetans in exile this time becomes one that could held up as an exemplar for the future generation of Tibetans to come. So that way we have to mitigate or reduce all kinds of rumors within the Tibetan community. We cannot be acrimonious, pointing fingers at others. The best way to conduct an election is to point out or to bring out the best qualities of your candidate. You are not supposed to demean other candidates. That's not the proper way to do it. That causes the reason why there is divisiveness within the Tibetan community. So I, as a candidate, commit to making this election as fair and as less acrimonious, as less divisive as possible. And as I mentioned earlier about how I spent my last 3 years, the whole intention was to bring the community together. Number two, when someone asked me in San Francisco, if you do stand for election, what would you do? At that time, I said that I will refrain from making any critical remarks about any other candidates. Unless provoked, I shall also not make any statement about the incumbent administration. And I always put this condition because there have been several incidences in the past where I had to respond because of things that were said which were not accurate or which were insinuating something else besides the facts. So this time I commit to the people that I shall not make any critical remarks about other candidates, and I urge in any of the platforms that I might participate in future, even if you ask me questions about other candidates, I shall not respond in any way, and that's my promise. Number three, now since as a candidate I'm doing this, I take this opportunity to appeal to supporters and non-supporters alike, any Tibetan, every Tibetan, not to resort or not to engage in acrimonious exchanges or spreading false information. The only right thing to do is to talk about the good qualities of your candidate and see how you can convince the people to vote for your candidate. That's the only way to go forward. And then I have personally not contacted any person of influence in Dharamsala or around, or I have not called any single individual. My approach this time, particularly because of the COVID-19 pandemic that we are going through, it doesn't make sense for us or any of the candidates, particularly from my side, by being a responsible candidate, there is no option but to speak to the public directly. And that is what I have been doing in Tibetan so far, and this is what I'm doing right now, speaking with you in English, without having to visit. It's not because I don't want to visit. I've made it very clear that I can visit anytime. I can put in all the energy. I'm in the right frame of my physical and mental setup right now. So I'm willing to come anytime, but not during the COVID, because I cannot put people's life at risk. Therefore, I will be speaking personally to the public, directly on all issues, and eventually we will have more discussion sessions based on what I've said. I have not and I will not be contacting any person of influence or any single individual for support. Now I leave it to the people to decide to whom you need to support. Then my way of communication, I now live in Balakopi, and the only way is to reach out to the public directly, because I consider live streaming as very important to reach out directly to the people in that timeline. And in English, now we are recording, and eventually will come out openly on a different time, live stream, whenever that is possible. But I want to make clear that we need to inform people. I take this opportunity also to a certain extent, like a workshop for the younger generation of Tibetans, or those Tibetans who have not been politically active or aware of the Central Tibetan administration and its functionings. So I'll be speaking generally also about institutions, how they function, and then how I intend to do it. This will also be educational for the general public. And it's very important for every single Tibetan to understand their candidate, their background, their political thinking, what they have done so far, and what they intend to do if once you elect him or her as your Sikyong. That is very important. Based on that, one must take a decision as to who you should or you want to support. So that means people having informed decision. I consider that very important. But on the other hand, I have already told my friends in the media, people I know in the media, that I will not take part in one-on-one debates between candidates. Because through the experiences that I went through last time, that does not help. 2 minutes of time to talk about a bigger issue is not enough to talk about a serious issue. Then one person responding in 1 minute and another person responding in another half minute. So that does not help make people understand issues. But on the other hand, it creates more divisiveness, because during those debates, people raise issues, then you tend to answer, and then, then that becomes a cause for division within supporters, within different groups. So I said, I have made my decision that I will not take part in one-on-one interviews by the media, and also I shall not take part in conferences or groupings or meetings that are organized by social media, because we are still learning to be responsible individual reporters without understanding the ethics of journalism. Therefore, there may be groups who are already biased in somebody's favor, or there may be groups who are completely unbiased. It's very difficult to make out who is what. Therefore, to have a community that's free of rumor mongering, the responsibility of accountability, answerability, and responsibility of elected representatives or to be elected representatives to the general public should be done through organized media. That is RFA or VOA or VOT or all the other medias that we have. So I will accept if now many people tend to copy American democracy. You see the state where American democracy is right now. Now, if you really want to copy American democracy, one thing that I appreciate is the town hall meetings. So I will participate in town hall meetings organized by Tibetan media, moderated by Tibetan media, and people, ordinary people with good enough knowledge asking questions directly to the candidate. That I will definitely entertain, I'll participate, and one-on-one interviews that I'll accept. But other than that, I have no intention to create more confusion in the process already that exists. Now, I'm aware of the fact that some people feel that there are too many candidates in the field, that the votes will get distributed and all that. That is the charm of democracy. That is the ornament of democracy. The more candidates we have, it shows to the world that we have that many number of people who want to work for the cause, who want to sacrifice for the cause. So that itself sends one message. And the other thing is that people have more choices. Then they know who is what within the Tibetan community. The reason why I'm speaking to you in English today is also to promote understanding of candidates. Just like you try to understand me now, I would expect other candidates also to speak about themselves and what they intend to do in future. So only that way can you understand a candidate. The best way is to reach out to people whom the candidates have worked with earlier. Then you get a better understanding of who that person is. Unless you have worked with that person, it's very difficult to understand. Even your own family, it's very difficult to understand, even if you spent your whole life living with them. So that way, people should decide, make informed decision, knowing what their candidates will do. And we should rejoice in the fact that this is a part of democracy, that we have so many candidates. Now, in conclusion, I offer earnest prayer for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the just cause of Tibet may triumph in all speediness, so that there may be of reunion of the Tibetans inside and outside Tibet. And I really hope and wish, and I do my part to make sure that the process of election this time may proceed smoothly and conclude successfully without any problem. I will end by saying, be informed, make your choice, and celebrate democracy. And more will come every week on different subjects. Thank you.